Governor Scott Walker, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm well. Thanks for having me on. I'm glad this worked out.
I'll tell you what, it sounds like you're having a party there. I don't remember being invited.
Well, it feels like a party because I've been up for almost 40 hours straight. My flights got delayed, and we didn't want to leave people out in the cold this morning in North Charleston. So we didn't check into a hotel. We just drove there.
Well, my goodness. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me get to it then, because you're probably exhausted. let me ask you a simple question.
Yep.
And yet it's a basic question. We've got a lot of people who want to be president of the United States. Why you?
Well, there's a lot of good people, and I'm going to say good things about fellow Republicans because there's many of them that I like and admire, but there's really two groups. There are fighters, many of whom are in Washington. They're fighters who've yet to win those fights largely, and then there are winners, people who've won elections, but they haven't consistently taken on the conservative fights. I think what makes me unique, makes our cause unique, is we've done both. We have fought, and we have won, and people's lives are better because of it, and we'll fight and win for America if we're president.
Mm-hmm. Well, you do have other governors running, and they're saying, look at me, I've done great things with the budget, I've taken on the union. Oh, nobody's taken on the unions like you do. That's a joke. But they're going to say, you did not expand Medicaid under Obamacare, did you?
I did not. No exchange, no Medicaid expansion, cut taxes by $2 billion, defunded Planned Parenthood, passed pro-life legislation, passed concealed carry, passed capsule doctrine, require a photo ID to vote, require people to be on, before they get a welfare check, to pass a drug test and sign up for job training. I mean, every common sense Republican conservative reform, right to work, you name it. Got rid of tenure and seniority. We've done it in a blue state, a state that hadn't gone Republican for president since 1984. And so what makes this unique is we didn't just talk about common sense conservative reforms. We made the case for them. We won those fights. We enacted them in a state that is more Democrat than Republican, and they worked, and we got elected. And I didn't just get elected 3 times. We actually added seats to our legislative branches. So to me, there's a lot of people, Mark, you and I have talked about this. I think a lot of people legitimately upset and frustrated that Republicans are in charge of the House and not in charge of the U.S. Senate, and they're not moving to get things done. I think we can show that I'm the person who can get Republicans to move in the right direction with conservative common sense reforms if I'm elected as president.
What do you think, and I'm not trying to get, headlines here, but I have a question. Jeb Bush, he keeps saying that he wants to run kind of around the base. My attitude is take your conservative message to the American people, all the American people, whatever their sex, their religion, their skin color, or whatever. What is this let's get around the base stuff?
Well, Mark, I've said, and I want to affirm here again, I don't think you win the center by moving to the center. You win it by leading. And that means in my state, we won the base overwhelmingly. 96%. I've been on the ballot 3 times, been under attack like nobody else the last 2 elections. We won 96%, which means full spectrum, from Tea Party to establishment or whatever that means, from Chamber of Commerce, to social conservative to libertarian. And yet we carried independent voters, self-identified independent voters in our state by 11, almost 12 points. Why? I believe the reason they're independents is not because they're moderates. I believe the reason they're independents is because they've been burned so many times by politicians who said one thing and then did something different when they got into office. They're just waiting to find out who they can trust. And for us, we've been able to make the case that our reforms work. And I found people say, I don't agree with you all the time, but I know where you're going, and I know you're willing to lead, and I know you're not afraid to lead. And I think that's what people are hungry for now more than ever, not just in our base, but I think that helps us win elections even amongst independents.
What do you make of this Iran deal? You've been to Israel recently. You've had talks with Prime Minister Netanyahu. This is kind of scary, isn't it?
This is awful. This has got to be one of the worst foreign policy catastrophes, not only of this presidency, but I think in some time here in the United States. This is not only a problem because it opens the door towards accelerating. This isn't just the starting gun. This accelerates the nuclear race in the Middle East, one of the last places in the world you want to interject nuclear weapons. But on top of that, even before we get to a point of talking about nuclear weapons, this adds credence. This adds credibility. This lifts the financial sanctions. against a country that is the leading state sponsor of terrorism. I mean, think about it. Israel should be our ally. It is our ally. It must be our ally. There must be no daylight between our two countries, and yet they just gave credence and money, access to money by lifting the sanctions, to not only the leading state sponsor of terrorism, but one that is directly linked in arms and money to groups like Hamas and Hezbollah that are directly threats to our Israeli allies. You add to that the fact that they're linked to groups like the Houthis, that were the rebels causing chaos in Yemen, to the problems with Assad in Syria, to the problems with the Shiite-based militia in Iraq. It's not just ISIS. When we talk about radical Islamic terrorism, it's not just ISIS or Al-Qaeda. It is the problems we have with Iran and their terrorist-related entities around the world. And here we have a deal that I just don't get, that the president is actually giving credibility to a country like Iran. This is not a country we should be doing business with.
Governor, I have like 2 minutes left. I apologize for that. It's the nature of this business and the clock. What is your position, and I hate to do this in 2 minutes, what is your position on immigration, legal and illegal?
I believe that we must secure the border. I've seen it firsthand. I've listened to folks who work and live and operate around there. Secure the border, uphold the law, no amnesty. As far as legal immigration goes going forward, we should put a priority on helping American working families and their wages in a way that helps and defends the American economy. I think that is a powerful message. It's for standing up for American working families in a way that makes sense to America.
I feel like we spend more time talking about illegal immigrants than we do talking about American citizen workers. Am I wrong about that?
Well, in the media, I certainly get a lot about that, and they want to talk about anything but securing the border and enforcing the law. In the end, I'm going to spend a lot of my time talking about how we help Americans compete on a level playing field, how we support not just American workers, but American families, how we strengthen the American family in this country again, how we put people in a position to help themselves get on their feet and live the American dream. And I look forward. I'd love to provide a great contrast. I think we got Hillary Clinton, someone who's a name from the past. We need a name from the future. In Hillary Clinton, we've got someone who embodies the problems with Washington. I'm about as anti-Washington, as far away from Washington as you can get. And probably most importantly, ignored by the media, Hillary Clinton, who other than getting a bunch of frequent flyer miles, I don't think has much to show for her time at the State Department or in the United States Senate, and I would match my record up of accomplishment any day on things that actually make people's lives better by getting government out of the way. I love to have that match head-to-head anytime, anyhow, and I look forward to people helping us, and I hope they will. Go to scottwalker.com and join our cause.
So that's scottwalker.com, scottwalker.com. Governor, you're very impressive. I want to thank you for coming on the program.
Thanks a million. Have a great one. God bless.
All right, God bless. You too. He asked to come on the program. I bring him on the program, and he sounds very impressive, doesn't he, Mr. Producer?